Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Spitball and Sports, the NHL edition. You know who I am. My name's John, if you're watching Spitball and Sports. But let's get into this right away because it's beautiful outside, 90 degrees here, and probably wherever you are as well. And we're lucky to be joined by, he's a regular, and I'm very happy to have him. We're all lucky to have him on this NHL edition of Spitball and Sports. It is Jim Biringer. Let me bring him in. Of course, you guys know him. He's a Full Press hockey writer, the voice of Full Press. He co-hosts with me, I'm lucky, on Let's Talk Pucks. Let's bring him into the stream. Hey, Jim.
John, what's going on, buddy?
Nothing. Enjoying the summer. How about you?
My vacation right now is going nicely.
Yeah.
It was a busy week, last couple months, I should say. But as I said on the Twitter machine, things are winding down, but we still have a few more left in us, so we can keep rocking away. Never want to disappoint the audience. I know your audience loves the NHL talk, so I'm here.
Thank you. Yeah, I know, because I was, on Twitter myself, I was talking about you and the people. I mean, you got to cover. A lot of us out here never have this chance. You are now covering, the NHL draft for Full Press. You were there, right in the mix with all the GMs, all the agents. Tell us how that was.
I mean, it was a great experience to be there down in Nashville. It was awesome. One of the best experiences of my life to understand how the business of the NHL actually works. Like, I always knew that it was a business. As Kelly McCrimmon said, he's in the winning business. He's not in the hockey business. But to actually see it go down like that in Nashville, understanding that, yeah, it's a cap. Things have to fit inside a cap. Where's money coming from? How do trades go down? How you always read about, so-and-so's talking on the draft floor. Like, it was kind of cool to see the GMs like interacting with each other, phones going up, seeing scouts and GMs talking right in front of you, and, just picking up little tidbits along the way, talking with the insiders and learning from the guys that have done this for a long time, and just trying to pick up my own way of doing things. And, just seeing, how, okay, well, we get it. Like, this trade has to go down, but it has to be cleared here. But if we don't get the parts we like, how are we going to make this work? And there wasn't a lot of action per se on draft day. And both days, there was a lot more action leading up to it, like there usually is. Yeah. The problem is, and as I mentioned this on the Twitter, as you see my Twitter handle here, salary cap's just wreaking havoc on everybody. You just can't make trades. That's why we didn't see the trades we saw at the draft. The salary cap continues to be the big winner here, and it's just crazy. It's crazy to think that, just because of a $1 million inflection, it's just created so much havoc.
Yeah, we're going to get into that in 1 second, but I want to ask you real quick about Nashville. I want to ask you about, there was some fun times in Nashville. I want to hear about Nashville, because Nashville, I was in Nashville when I was there. It isn't Nashville today. So what was it like? What was that whole thing like with all the, you're going to bars or you're going to restaurants and there's GMs, there's everybody. What was that like?
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, it was a good time. Like, I got in there late on one day, but still figured out a way, to make it work. But look, we were there. We were in the arena early on both days, and then when we came out, especially on Wednesday when we got out of the draft, first round, like, you walk out and there's like 1 million people. It's like bachelorette party central. Like, you're just trying to figure out where you can go, like, just to get a meal or to get a drink or just to relax. So we ended up, again, like Billy G said, shout out to Tootsie's for keeping the boys going, because that's literally where we hung out. There was you get out at, there was concerts, there were concerts beforehand, there were concerts after, people just playing. You're like, oh, your media, what can we do for you to make your life better? It was really nice just to, the people were just so nice, so cool, so genuine. They love their hockey down there. And that was really it. I mean, it was just fun times, just going, each day, just figuring out just a different place to go where we're hanging out. And there's some of the conversations just like, like off the record, but like guys are being serious. Like when they have a couple of pints in them, they're like, oh, well, I'll give you this guy for that guy. straight up if there's no cap. And the guys are like, yeah, if there's no cap, well, yeah, definitely, but we can't do that. But just hanging out again, just getting knowledge from people that have been in the business and just like reminiscing with guys that you saw play. Like for instance, like Billy Guerin, him and I we're chewing the fat for a little bit, and he was telling me some Lou Lamoriello stories and just some fun times, and meeting with Darryl Evans and talking with him. Craig Button was there, like all the TSN guys, the Sportsnet guys, just hearing like how it goes down, and you observe, right? Like going back to the draft for a minute, there's a railing out there on the floor for the media, so you just hang out there a little bit, and you just pick up things, and you see how you interact with certain guys, and that's again, that's where I noticed how things went down with Ottawa and Detroit, where the trade didn't happen, and again, all things still point to DeBrincat and Detroit, but again, what's the return? And the guys are like, hey, again, so you play the game of chicken, and how can you help me out, and how can this? So, but it was just a great experience, just being there and learning, and going from the floor to back to the media room and in between everything, and but again, it's an experience which I'll never forget, and the fact of the matter is that's how I wrap up a great hockey season. Can ask for a better place, and the league loves going to Nashville, and I wouldn't be shocked if they go back again real soon, or just have the awards there. I think having the awards in the draft in the same city is great, but again, how many people really want to go to Edmonton for the awards? And Vegas is a different story, but I think I wouldn't be shocked if the awards find like a permanent home in Nashville or Vegas down the line.
Yeah, it sounds like a party every day you're down there, and well, now next time you go, they'll think about how comfortable you'll feel, right?
Exactly. It took me a little bit to find my bearings in there. Like outside, I was a little like I knew how to do the things outside because I was always looking for autographs before I did this.
Right.
So it was easy to go up to players and say, hey, But again, it's interesting to see, how things go down. And then when I found my bearings, I was fine. I was talking to all the prospects and the players and all that stuff. So, they were cool. They were so nice to give me like clips and everything. So that was really, really fun.
So now you talked about, and it's funny, I'm glad you brought up the tweet, because I was going to ask you what you meant. Your one tweet was really good today, saying that the salary cap was the big winner of the off season. So thanks for explaining that. Let me ask you, let's start out this way right now, and we're not going to go winners and losers, but who do you think had a good one? Who had a good UFA, so far free agent signing period?
I would say Nashville to me. I think I like the additions of Luke Shen and Ryan O'Reilly. I really like those additions. Carolina, look, they kept their three-headed monster. They re-signed Jesper Fast. They added Dmitry Orlov. They kept Jordan Stahl. They kept all their guys together. Now, again, do they hit the market with Tarasenko? Do they find a different way to get things done? Do they add somebody else? They're spending money. Do they get Carlson? Who knows? But, again, Carolina is keeping their team intact. Again, for me, I thought Preds did a good job. I like what Chicago did, despite with everybody saying they're rebuilding team. You got to insulate a kid like Connor Bedard with guys like Corey Perry, like a Nick Foligno, like a Taylor Hall, guys like that. I like the signing of Ryan Donato. I thought that was a really good move by them. It's just very interesting to see like what teams do. LA, obviously they traded for Dubois. So again, that's not really a free agent signing. Right. I think the Devils did, what they had to do. They acquired Toffoli. They kept their guys. They re-signed their guys. So that's good on free agency day. Again, free agency day to me, a lot of general managers can make bad decisions and throw out a lot of money. And we don't see it because of the salary cap. And for me, I think Boston did a good job finding value in the bottom end of the market, like with the JVRs, with the Morgan Geekies, guys like that. I will say I'm going to throw Toronto in there as a winner because of Bertuzzi and Domi. Reeves I like, but again, the length of the contract, as I've been told, you really can't say this. You can't. The reason the term affects the AAV, so you can't really say you don't like the term and you like the AAV because the term affects the AAV to keep it down. But again, I think 2 years would have been a little bit better for Revo. But again, I love the player. I love the guy. They're changing the culture. John and I discussed this on the Final Word on Hockey, one of the podcasts that I do. They're changing the culture. Again, winners and losers of, it's so hard because of free agency, because there's just so many factors, because we don't know, right? We don't know what these teams are going to do in the regular season, right? I could say this team did great. And I could tell you this team, and this team did poorly, but we really won't know until they hit the ice, right?
Definitely. Yeah, you can't win anything in July. But I'm going to say
it's like this with the draft. You see all these guys, winners and losers of the draft. Half these kids won't even make the league this year. The picks are great. Yeah, I absolutely. Do I think the Flyers did great? Chicago did awesome. St. Louis did great. But no one's really going to know how any of these picks turn out.
And then I got two teams. And we do a lot of podcasts together. Like I said, we do Let's Talk Pucks together, which is great. And I want to ask you about one team, and that's the Islanders, and then the Penguins.
I don't like what they did. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of what they did. Look, they kept their own guys, right? So the Islanders re-signed Sorokin 8 years, $825, fine. Again, but this is the same team that has the same general manager that signed Bo Horvat to that same deal and said it's too long for too much.
Right.
Again, is that something you wanna have? 7 years for Pierre Engvall? That's a little long. Scott Mayfield, 7 years, a little long. For those 4 years for Semyon Varlamov is way too long for a 35-year-old. I'm sorry, but and the fact that Mayfield has a 16-team no trade clause is again ridiculous. Like to me, the Islanders, they just like the Rangers got older and slower. They didn't go anywhere. They needed to add a scorer, and they didn't do it. As for the Pittsburgh Penguins, the Matt Murray signing to me, 5 years at $5.375. I'll say it again. Convinces me that Kyle Dubas, if he stayed in Toronto, would have run back the same team because he's just throwing out money. And they outbid themselves for Murray because nobody was taking him.
Right. Tristan Jarry.
Yeah, Tristan Jarry, not Murray. Well, Matt Murray's in Toronto, and they're trying to move him too. Right. But he was a former Penguins goaltender. Yep. And again, everybody's talking about, Murray's a great ad. But he hasn't done anything since 16 and 17. Tristan Jarry really hasn't done much either in the league. Yes, when he's healthy, he's great. But Jarry at 5 years at 5.375, not the greatest. And yes, it's been a long week, so I'm confusing a lot of goaltenders. And my hockey brain is just fried. But no, again, it convinces me that they would have run it back, and you're just throwing money. Who are you outbidding? Like with Toronto, who are you outbidding with John Klingberg at 4.15? Right. Like, I like the player, but again, who are you outbidding? Because a lot of these players are not being signed.
Luckily, the only thing for them, I'm glad that was only 1 year. Thankfully, they didn't go 2 or 3 with Klingberg.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm really that's the only silver lining there. Because you're right. 4 point, I don't get it. I mean, although I'll tell you, defensemen are making Gudas went $4 million a year. Some of these guys were. I don't know what it was about defensemen this year, right? They seem to be the ones that stole the show as far as even term and price.
Oh yeah, definitely, for sure, absolutely. They definitely were stealing the price for sure. Again, Dmitry Orlov bet on himself. Tyler Bertuzzi bet on himself. Max Stone, but again, go back to the theme of what I've been saying. The salary cap is just wreaking havoc, guys. thought they were going to hit it big. They're not hitting it big. I will say one of the teams I really like looking through the signings now, Florida. I like what they did. Mikula, Riley.
Yeah.
You get Kulikov. You get Ekman Larson on a cheap deal. Rodriguez. That's a solid group of guys. Again, Talbot in LA. We're going to see what he does because of the injury history. If they can get LA a save with the team that they have, they got to finish first, though, in that division with Vegas and Edmonton because they're going to have to find a way to beat those Oilers teams. You know, Montreal really didn't do much. No. But again, like I said, I think Nashville, to me, you get Nyquist, you get Cody Glass, Carrier. Those are guys to me that you – and Barry Trotz, their team that's changing the culture. He wants to go younger. He wants to get this team build the right way, get out of Duchesne, get out of Johansson, guys like that. And I think Dallas signing Matt Duchesne, 1-year deal, that's not a bad deal for him. $3 million, make him whole. I'm trying to think of other teams like Korpisalo signing 5 years in Ottawa, a little long for me. But again, term and AV are tied together. I will say I broke this one when I was at the draft. Pierre Dorian said there was a deal to be made with Travis Hamonic, the defenseman. Murray Pan, one of our other writers, our Senators guy, texted it to him. We put it out, and there it is, done. And again, look, if we stay on the Penguins 1 second, I like the Achari deal. I like the Nieto deal. I like the Eller deal. Butcher deal is good too. But Graves, 6 years. Yeah. Again, a little long for me. Jari, 5 years, a little long for me. I'm just not sure this team is ready to compete. Like, what are they? Are they a bubble playoff team like they've always been? Or are they in the category of Washington and Boston?
Yeah. And honestly, they should have been. I would have thought the new GM would have come to make those tough choices because they aren't. You're right. I agree with you. They aren't really. They're not the Penguins of old, so they are a bubble team. They got to be. They very well could be out this year.
Look, you want to throw Vegas in as a winner? You re-sign Ivan Barbashev 5 years at $5, great, and you keep Aiden Hill, great. They did good. Buffalo, I thought, did pretty well with the defenseman that they signed. I like Connor Clifton. He's a Jersey boy. He's going to be a good player. But again, you look at some of these teams that are ready to take the next step. Ottawa found their goaltender. They believe in Jonas Korpisalo because you got Anton Forsberg there, and Soderberg's on his way, right? Sogard's on his way, right? New Jersey, are they going to be able to find their goaltender? Right now, they're rolling Vitek Vanacek and Akira Schmid with all the things that they did. What's next?
Well, and I got to ask you about Buffalo because living where I do, I did have someone send me a message to ask you a question. So I'm going to ask it something. What's left in goalies? And do you believe, I said what I think. They want to know what you think. Do you believe they need one? Because look, Pekka Luukkonen and Levi scare me. What do you think?
Look, I'm going to echo something what Jamie McClennan told me on my podcast, on Full Press NHL podcast. I think you need a veteran guy with a young guy. We saw it when Winnipeg tried to go with two young guys when Hellebuck was first starting off. It didn't really work out because you don't have that veteran guy there. Then when Mason came in, Hellebuck stole the job, and it was his ever since. To ride Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen and Devin Levi, and I think Devin Levi is your future, and the way he's played great. You need a veteran presence there when things get tough. You can't throw him to the wolves because you see what's going on in Philadelphia with Carter Hart. Danny Briere even said it. It's just not. We just haven't been able to support him in front. Buffalo's defense is better, man. You got Owen Power, Dahlin. Buffalo's in the right place. The talent they have now, they need to be a playoff team now. I don't know if that goaltending combination gets them to the playoffs now.
Yeah, and now these are the guys that I brought up, Jim, and you'll tell me better. To the person I was talking, Halak, Martin Jones, and maybe Jonathan Bernier. I don't know of anyone else available. Maybe I'm.
I mean, are you looking via trade too? I mean, Connor Hellebuck's still out there. John Gibson's out there, despite what he said. Definitely. He's available. Is UC Saros available? I mean, to me, if Levi's your starter, bring in Halak because he knows how to be a backup. Like, he's the best backup I've ever seen in the league besides Anton Khudobin. But to me, maybe they're riding Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen and Devin Levi. If they do, that's the problem. And as one guy I saw on Twitter, him and I were going back and forth with, it's like, well, they're goaltenders in the future. Why do they keep getting rumored in goaltenders? Well, they need a goaltender. Ottawa got theirs, and everybody expects Ottawa to be better. Everybody expects Buffalo to make the playoffs this year. I mean, let's be honest. What they did last year with Tuck and Thompson, Tage Thompson, the offense that they have, and Donnie Granado, what they're doing in Buffalo, they need to make the playoffs this year. I'm sorry, but they do. Because there's an open door for them to make it. Outside of Toronto, which I am penciling in, and I'm not ever counting out the Tampa Bay Lightning, despite the big changes that they made with no Perry, no Maroon, they find a way to get in. After that, it's pretty wide open. Am I going to pencil the Boston Bruins into the playoffs? I don't think so. I think I'm going to have them where I had them last year. If they're going to make the playoffs, it's going to be wild card. Florida going to make the playoffs? They have a lot of injuries to start the year. I'm not sold on them.
Right. Yeah.
The opportunity is there for one of Detroit, Ottawa, and or Buffalo. And the way Steve Yzerman's talking, he says they're still in a rebuild. Well, if they're still in a rebuild, why are they still going after Alex DeBrincat? Because he's going to fit what they're going to do. And if DeBrincat goes there, Detroit's not in a rebuild. I think, and if Tarasenko ends up in Ottawa, that's a nice replacement.
Wow. If Buffalo might be the closest of the three.
Right.
If they have a goalie.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if they get a goaltender, like, if for me, I said this the other day, New Jersey to me is still the second best team in the Metro Division behind the Carolina Hurricanes. It's not by much.
Right.
But if they get a goaltender, they're the best team in the division, if not the Eastern Conference. Definitely.
Yeah, no doubt. They're unbelievable. And again, we've talked about this on other podcasts. Fitzgerald has just done a job that many GMs should look at, because that's what the Leafs, unfortunately, going to the Leafs, if you'd have had a Tom Fitzgerald instead of Kyle Dubas when Matthews and all them were up, they wouldn't be where they are today.
No.
People to take Matt Murray.
No, and I think they'll eventually get rid of him. They'll figure it out. Good teams always do. As Craig Button says, and I think this is a great saying, don't tell me it can't be done. There's always a way to get it done. There's a way. Vegas finds a way. Toronto is finding ways to get it done. Matt, I think the signing of Domi and Bertuzzi allows them now that second buyout window if they buy him out, which I think that's probably what they're going to have to do. I don't think anybody's going to take them without like a first or second round pick.
Can you believe that Matt Murray's only like 29, I believe?
Look, again, wow. He's 29. He won 2 Stanley Cups, but again, look who he was. Look who the tandem was. It was Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yeah, and he can't stay healthy. He just can't. He just can't do it.
No.
There was moments last year where for about 2 weeks, I thought he was going to be the guy, and he just couldn't. Well, one of it though wasn't really his fault. He got blown up in the net. He got knocked over and bashed his head. Let me get into a few of these other things that are really, hot on right now. Tarasenko. Here's the teams that I'm thinking, but you can tell me the real stuff. The Devils. You mentioned Ottawa. I would think the Islanders should be in on him. Heavily, they should be. Who else? What's the real thing with Tarasenko right now?
All right, so look, Tarasenko apparently vetoed a bunch of offers with contenders between $5 and $6 million, 1-year deals. He wants to stay in the New York area. Again, the Devils have been linked to Tarasenko before. They never could get it closed. The Islanders have been linked to him before. But again, does he want to go to the Island? This is not a shot at the Islanders, but again, if you want good offensive players to come to your team, you have to change what you do. Like, you can't just be a defensive team all the time. You have to be able to score goals. And yes, he would be able to score goals, especially on that power play. But again, we saw Bo Horvat in Vancouver on a bad team light it up, and all of a sudden to the Island, he can't score. Right. Like, that doesn't make sense. And you have now signed him for 8 years. Like, again, I said this not to irate Buffalo fans. When Jack Eichel signed the contract that he did, I said to myself, he ain't staying in Buffalo. Why would I? Like, as I know the money was out there because McDavid had just signed.
Yeah.
But I'm like, this dude doesn't really want to be in Buffalo. Why are you signing this deal right now?
No, that was right. That was absolutely right on, man. There's another name I want to bring up too, and it's Eric
Oh, and
Carlson.
Carolina's still in play.
Oh, Carolina. Okay.
Florida's still in
Jeez.
play. There's still a lot of offers for Tarasenko, but again, he's gonna have to take a pay cut. And where's he gonna go? And he just changed agents, so like this is one of the more weird ones because I expected it to be done today. Like I really did. When I heard the news Monday, okay, Monday. Nothing was going to happen yesterday because it's the 4th of July. I really expect Tarasenko to be done by the end of this week because if it's not and it keeps lingering, then we have real problems. And like, there's a lot of guys still out there, and I would not be surprised if they wait till August to sign or they get like Thomas Tatar, right? He's still out there, right? Yeah. No one's picked him up. All right, well, maybe he's coming in on somebody on a PTO. Like, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but would it shock me? No, because just the salary cap again. Like, do these teams really want guys like that?
Absolutely. I mean, another one that I want to instant in the trades is Eric Carlson. Everyone, I can't even mention all the teams, but who's linked really seriously? Because I don't think the Maple Leafs are a serious option.
I mean, look, people keep mentioning the Maple Leafs again. You probably can figure out a way to get it done. But again, you're going to have a team eat it. It's like last year when Patrick Kane wanted out with all the offseason rumors. You have to figure out a team that's going to want to eat some money. And San Jose has to come up from 20% of retaining salary. They can't just say, I'm at 20%. You're going to have to go between 30 and 40 to start this thing off. And if somebody throws you an extra draft pick, fine, to get it done. Then it's going to go, say, Arizona. Or somebody else wants to eat some salary that's not going to make the playoffs. Let's do that. And then it goes to Toronto. Now Carlson at $4 or $5 million. Okay, it can work. But again, the Leafs. Again, don't tell me it can't be done. It probably could be done if it's Toronto, but who's going the other way? Like somebody's leaving to make it work. Carolina, again, mentioned it. Other places put it on the Twitter machine. Do I believe Carolina? I mean, it's possible, but again, Brett Pesce, is he going back to San Jose? Does Nashville want Brett Pesce? But again, the Burns-Carlson experience didn't really work out too well. Maybe now that Carlson's 100% healthier, the Achilles is over, all that stuff. But again, how much power play time is going around for all these guys, especially if D'Angelo's coming back? So if D'Angelo's coming back, he's going to want power play 2-time. I just don't see Carlson there. Pittsburgh's still being linked. Again, salary cap. Who's going back? What's going to be made to work it? Is there the third team has to be involved in this trade in order to make it happen? Unless Carlson waits to the deadline, which at this point it might, because I just don't see why and how it's going to get done now. Like, can it get done before the beginning of the season? Yes. Again, with the Brinket, with Carlson, with Hellebuck, the GMs don't have to do things now. They're still under contract.
Yeah, and the deadline, right? It's a little easier because then it's whatever the prorated money is and all that. It's a little bit simpler, I think, to bring a guy in than now.
Yeah, like a guy like the Brinket or a guy like Hellebuck could be a lot easier. A guy like Carlson, you're still got a couple years left at 11-5. That's really tough to figure it out. That's why you need a third team to be eating some money somewhere.
I saw somebody echoing you were the first person that I know that said it, even about the big, like Cervelli and all them, and it might have been him, talking about the Brinket. He should stay where he is.
I said this weeks ago. I've been on this train, and maybe the ship is passed, but I know Pierre Dorian said he's open to a 1-year deal with the Brinket. They're going to, obviously the dates have not come out yet, but Ottawa filed team elected arbitration to get the salary cap, the qualifying number down by 15%. He scored 27 goals last year. Again, I will echo and I'm sorry for the cross promotion, but please go listen to the Full Press NHL podcast. Jamie McLennan basically said, out of all the guys that changed teams last year, Matthew Tkachuk had the best year. It takes time for guys to adjust to a new system and a new place. DeBrincat was traded at the draft last year. It took him some time to get adjusted to what DJ Smith wants. You have a year under your system. You have a year with Claude Giroux. guys are going to be coming back. You had the injuries. Why not give it a shot one more year? Give it a shot because it might be your best option right now. It might be your only option right now.
And it's very smart because I think that way too about the Devils and Timo Meier. I think the best is yet to come. Remember, he came all the way across country. From coast to coast. And
yeah, I mean, luckily for Meier, he met the team while the team was on a West Coast trip. Right. So he met him in Arizona. But still, you're flying from San Jose to Arizona. You got to understand what Lindy Ruff wants. You started to see signs in the playoffs. He was just snake bitten. He just couldn't score.
Right.
Like, dude I think he had 25 shots in the Rangers series and couldn't score a goal. Like, the dude had chances. It had a great, high-quality scoring chances. But again, he just got stonewalled because Shesterkin. Now you're going to see the best of Meier. He's got the new deal. He's got that new 8-year deal. Jesper Bratt's got that new 8-year deal. You got Toffoli in there. This is how Tom Fitzgerald's working with Toffoli, right? Yeah, he's got a year left at $4.2 million, right? He's treating him like an RFA. He really is. He's treating him like an RFA. Okay, you got a year. See how you like New Jersey. If you have a good year, things work out, bring it back for a short-term deal. If you don't, all right, well, it's all right. It's a one-year rental. Big deal.
And from Tom Fitzgerald over to the Maple Leafs and Nylander. So we know everything's a negotiation. Well, Nylander's saying he wants 10 and a half. The Leafs are saying whatever we got is starting with the number 8. What in the world? I mean, for me as a Leafs fan, if they moved Nylander, I would have no problem with it. But what do you think happens, or where does this go in your mind?
Look, from the day he signed that extension, 5 years ago now? Mm-hmm. Something like that, right? He signed a 6-year deal, right?
6, yep.
I said Nylander was the odd man out. I really believe it. He has every right to ask for $10 million. He's a $10 million player. He should ask for what he wants because guess what? The Maple Leafs gave it to Matthews, gave it to Marner, gave it to Riley, gave it to everybody. Why can't he expect $10 million? Now, could he overplay the market? I think somebody would pay him $10 million. I think somebody would pay him $9 million. Now, I think the Maple Leafs are looking at what the Devils did with Meier and say, well, hey, Meier got this. You're only here. But Nylander's coming off a great season. What, he put up 40, right?
40, I think 87 points, yeah.
I mean, he has every right to ask for $9 million if he wants to. But again, where the money you can find it, the cap's going to go up next year. This extension is not happening this year. Even though he's eligible to sign it, this extension is going to wait until free agency or before to figure out where the numbers are going to come from. If he stays, great. If he doesn't, well, the Maple Leafs are going to have to move him because they're going to need to get value for him. But the problem is getting value for a guy of that caliber is tough. We saw it with the Dubois trade. Velarde's a great player. Kopari's a good player. Iafalo's a great player. But they're not the level of Pierre-Luc Dubois. You move a Nylander, you're not going to get that level in return. You're going to get some nice pieces, but he's not William Nylander. And I know Nylander wants to stay. Marner wants to. All these guys want to stay. It's great. But again, I'll go back to it. Said it when it happened. This is the hill I'll die on. The Tavares signing changed everything for the Toronto Maple Leafs and that Shannon plan. And I know you'll say, yeah, and everybody expects that they should have had a championship by now. But you don't sign a guy to $11 million when you just extended Matthews. The money you extended him at.
And you know what else is amazing about Toronto? And I don't get it. And everywhere else in the league, people take less to win. For some odd reason, why in Toronto do they take – that's never in the conversation. Like, you can't even – here's what I'm trying to say. It's almost like you can't even bring it up.
No.
Like, at what point do you want to win or not? And I think Tree Living, it's a good thing he's there because he has no connection to any of these guys. But at some point, my God, if you don't take less Nylander, well, guess what? If you give Nylander that much, then Marner's got to go. Because you can't keep doing it. Like, you know what I'm saying? It won't work.
You can't keep, even if the cap keeps going up, you can't keep doing this. And look, Crosby continues to take less money. He should be getting. Malkin made what he made. But again, Pittsburgh should have made tough decisions last year. I'm okay with Letang staying, but I'm not okay with Malkin staying at what he stayed at. Because they made a tough decision with Marc-Andre Fleury. You know, they got to clear cap space too. You know, Dubas has a lot of work to do down there. with moving Raquel, moving Granlund. I know you can never count out a Crosby, Malkin on that team. Well, have you seen what they did in the playoffs recently?
Right.
It's not the greatest results. They haven't won a playoff series since 2018. Just saying, and teams are on the rise. Like, let's not forget, Columbus is a better team right now. Like that defensively, they're better. They got a better coach. They if the injury bug doesn't happen to them, Columbus is going to be a tough team. Again, if you're Toronto, you got to play hardball, and the hardball needed to start when Dubas was there. You got to set the tone with Matthews. You had to set the tone with Marner. But these guys just sat out and did what they wanted.
And now with Matthews, before we get off of them, it'll be interesting because if he takes what McKinnon takes, I think it would be, like the percentage, it'd be like 13.5. So if he goes under 13.5, to me, that's a good sign.
It is a good sign.
But at what point do you think that if you almost, I understand you won't get the value back for Nylander, but it might not be a bad thing. Like, let's say you get Hannafin, and I don't even know if he'll have Calgary on his list. I don't know, his no trade list, although he's from there and I know he loves it, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, you could move him to things. I think Leaf fans are a little bit got to calm down if he got moved. Do you see what I mean? Like, is he that something? You just can't have everything always.
No, you can't. Look, Austin Matthews, from what all indications, could be the highest paid player AAV wise when this gets done. And yeah, going into the draft, it was going to be a 3-year deal. I think more and more it's going to be a 5-year deal. And he wants to max out, and he's a smart guy. He gets it. Cap's going to go up. He wants more money. Okay, great. That's fine. Say it's just over McKinnon. Fine. I can live with that on a 5-year deal. Yeah. Marner's next contract, what is it going to be? Like, what's that going to be? I mean, luckily, you won't have to worry about it because Tavares will probably be off the books by then. But still, these guys cannot continuously get raises, and somebody's going to have to go eventually. These guys, the band can't stay together forever. And again, changes needed to be made. All these losses, they needed to make something change. They got to just change the dynamic there. To me, the guy I wouldn't move, as much as Brad Treliving loves Mitch Marner, the guy I wouldn't move is Nylander because he at least shows up in the playoffs.
Nylander.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would move Marner.
I mean, the one thing I want to say about him, though, is, and I don't know, but there are times where if we only pay for goal scoring, I get it. But sometimes this guy's a kind of a liability. Defensively, he doesn't like that end of the ice sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, that's why when they say, okay, he's better than Timo Meier, I don't know. I'm not positive if that would be the case in my eyes, if it's that clear that those two are that far apart.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think both are different players. Timo Meier plays more with an edge than Nylander, but when push comes to shove, when these guys have to do it, they get it done.
Right. Last thing before I know we got to let you go, but there's only a couple more things I want to ask you about. What do you see happening Winnipeg? All those guys still, Scheifele, everybody. I love Scheifele. I think he makes some team very happy.
Yeah, Scheifele, to me, I think, look, is big. Speaking with guys from Winnipeg, they were very surprised they didn't blow it up last year. They should have, and they need to blow it up this year. Look, but Blake Wheeler's gone. Good signing in New York. I still think the Rangers got older and slower, and I'm not sold on Jonathan Quick being a backup. Great. It's a great story. You grew up in Connecticut. You love okay. That's not going to win you games in the National Hockey League. I'm sorry. It's a great feel-good story, but, is he better than Yaroslav? No. And he's older, and the Kings got rid of him, and LA and Vegas didn't even go to him in the playoffs when the goalies got hurt. So, I think the Rangers took a step back. I really did. As far as Hellebuck goes, again, where can he fit? Okay, well, New Jersey's a contender. Obviously, they need a goaltender. Buffalo. Okay, great. The market's not as big as we thought it was for him. And if he's looking for Vasilevsky-type money, I'm sorry, but I don't think teams are going to pay for it. I know he's got the Vezina Trophy and he's been nominated and all this stuff. Great. I don't know what it is, but guys just don't want to pay goaltenders that much money, especially elite goaltenders. But Sorokin just got 8.25. I think Hellebuck's going to say, well, I deserve 8.5, if not 9, and he's not wrong. if I'm Jersey, I make the trade, but I sign him to a short-term deal. And if I can get him in at 8, then do it.
Man, if they got him at 8, and if they get him, you said it off the top. I think they're the Eastern Conference right now. They would be the
Look, I
odds-on
mean,
favorite.
Elliot Friedman was talking about it the other day. He said the Devils are a Stanley Cup contender. Right now, to a point, they need a goaltender. Like Vanacek is Vanacek. Schmid is great. He's up and coming. But man, if you have a guy like Hellebuck, I'm telling you, that's the guy that gets you over the top in the playoffs. I know you need great goaltending, maybe not a great goalie. And I know Vasilevsky broke the trend going back to back, but to me, you still have a great goaltender like that.
Oh yeah,
and you have a good defense in front of you. Look, any goalie is going to play behind that defense in Vegas and win a Stanley Cup. Though Aiden Hill made the timely saves when he needed to and was really good when he needed to. So, but again, we saw what he did in Arizona and San Jose. He wasn't that great behind bad defenses. Right. So that defense in Vegas says something. Again, it's the old argument. Well, was it the defense or was it Brodeur in New Jersey? Well, it was a combination of both, and people don't want to hear this part of it. And I will say it. When that defense was gone, Brodeur was still putting up 40 wins and winning Vezina trophies.
Right. No doubt about it. He's one of to me, it's him and Patrick Waugh. They're some of the best goaltending I've ever seen.
Yeah.
On those two guys. The last thing I wanted to ask you, though, because these are two guys that I get asked about and I know nothing to really say. Patrice Bergeron and David Krejci. Did you hear anything down there about them? Is it over? They're just retiring, or?
But the Boston's operating on the notion those two are not coming back. Okay. To me, if Krejci plays, he's playing back in Czechia. I think they're both done in Boston. I really do. I would be very, very shocked to see both of them come back. Unless Bergeron has a change of heart and wants to give it one more go. I just feel what we saw at the end of Game 7 was it. Was it for Bergeron. He got his Selke trophy. He got his one last Selke. I think the Boston Bruins, as we know it, with Bergeron and Krejci down the middle, are done.
And they are one team that has been incredible when it comes to take less to win. And I got to give them credit too. Just like I'm trying to say on New Jersey's end, what they're up to. Boston's was doing it. They've been doing it. And they should, a lot of teams should really pay attention to what those guys have did and what New Jersey's doing. Your New Jersey Devils, man, I'll tell you, I don't see a way where they're not, you pencil them in. Like you're saying the Leafs on that end, I think the Devils they would be stunning. There's no way that team isn't, in the playoffs easily and just waiting to see who it is they match up with.
Look, I think the Devils are back in the playoffs this year.
Easily.
With the additions. Now anything can happen. We've seen it. And they have to follow up last year with a great performance this year. All the guys are signed. Guys are ready to go. Luke Hughes, you got Nemec coming. You got traded for Colin Miller. That's a great depth signing there. Great acquisition. In case Nemec isn't ready or you want to just move him along slowly, that's a great addition. They kept Miles Wood. They kept Bashin. They're going to bring up a couple of guys. Yeah, Miles Wood is gone, so what? They were never bringing him back. They were never bringing Graves back. They were never bringing Blackwood back. Tatar's not coming back. They keep Hala. They have a nice team here. And if they got to make the playoffs again to me. And again, I think them and Carolina are going to be battling for the top seed in the Metro Division. And outside of Carolina and the Devils, the dealer's choice on who the other two teams are. I mean, is it the Islanders? Is it the Rangers? I think the Rangers are still there because of Shesterkin and what they have and the element of Peter Laviolette. So you throw them in. So now we're battling Pittsburgh, Washington, Islanders. Columbus is not a playoff team. They'll be better. Philly. They're going to battle. Philly's not a playoff team. They're not even close to a playoff team. When Mitchkov comes into this league, that's when they're going to be ready to explode. That team will, but again, is it the same four as last year? Devils, Hurricanes, Rangers, Islanders?
Yeah. All right, I got to let you go, but I got one last thing.
All right, one more.
Okay.
Let's keep it going.
I do have another one because someone asked me about a player. It's deep. And even when he said it to me, I had to go look this up. He's a free agent right now. He's 24 years old. He's like 6'3", 220 pounds. Max Comtois from Anaheim. What do you think of a guy like him? Because his numbers were good his rookie year.
Look, Comtois is a solid player, but again, what did Anaheim want to do there? I mean, they have Terry, they have Zegras. I thought Comtois fit in well there, but again, the chances that he have with Dallas Aikens. Again, what we saw with the buyout period and qualifying offers, a lot of guys weren't qualified because of the salary cap. Does he come in on a PTO? Does he sign a league minimum deal? Just get a 1-year deal similar to what Jonathan Drouin did to just like rebuild his stock up a little bit? Because I think Comtois is going to be a good player. We know what he can do, and I think somebody will take a flyer on him.
Is he the type of player that if you bring him in, he has to be in your top 6? Or is that somebody that you could play, that – I don't even know what type of player
I think you can mold him. Like Michael McLeod was the number 12th pick for the Devils one year in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
He really didn't find himself until the last 2 years, being a role player for the team, being a face-off guy, third and fourth line. So I think, maybe you can mold Comtois into a depth player that can play a second line, but also could play on your third line.
All right, Jim. I'm going to let you go. You've done so much here. It is now the summer. You need to take a break and rest and relax and rejuvenate because before you know it, every summer goes away. You're back.
Well, yeah, summer does go away. Vacation ends and summer goes away.
Yeah,
unfortunately, summer does go away. But
we love hockey, so we're happy when we do get to fall. But let me tell everybody where they find you.
All right, so you can get me at Jim Biringer on Twitter. My Twitter handle is literally right here to make it easier for everybody. You can also follow along at Full Press NHL on Twitter. Please follow along. You can get me on LinkedIn, Jim Biringer. My name's right here. Just search me out on LinkedIn. Facebook, I'm there as well. Full Press NHL podcast, Full Press Hockey Weekly show, Final Word on Hockey I do, Let's Talk Pucks, we're on Let's Talk Sports together. I'm pretty much everywhere. Check me out tomorrow morning, 8:45 WVTK in Vermont. We'll go over some free agency stuff as things start to wind down. But that's really where you can find me. I'm everywhere. Again, I'm very active still on my Twitter, even though I'm on vacation. But again, when things drop, we get it out. Also, fullpresshockey.com. That's where you can find the latest articles from our great group of people that we have.
And let me say to everybody, if you got questions, you're good, Jim. You'll answer anybody.
Yeah, if you've got questions, hey, just send them to me. I'll answer as best as I can. Hopefully, some of the shows we do, we'll do some Q&A. If you guys want to, even on this show, if you have questions for me when I pop on with John again, please send them to John and I'll answer these questions for you. I have no problem doing that.
Yep. And it was really nice because I had a couple today and I'm glad I remembered to get them in because there's sometimes I forget. I wrote it down so I'd remember. And Jim, now NHL, this is Spitball in Sports Edition, NHL Edition. And what I'll do is, because I got to give you a break, let you have some time. But if craziness happens, Hellebuck, whatever, we'll bring you back and you can come back with us and break it down.
Yes, absolutely. When craziness comes around, I will definitely be around for you guys to break some things down. Just hit me up. I'll be ready to go.
All right, Jim. I'm going to let you go. All right, so this is NHL edition of Spitball and Sports Podcast. I'll be back with Scott Taggart on Friday, and we'll have Robert Butler from Sports Scope will be with us. We're going to talk some NFL, some NBA, and things like that. And Jim, thanks. And we'll be seeing you again very soon. We really appreciate you.
Hey, John, thanks for having me on. Always a pleasure.
Take care, everybody.